Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of He Said. A look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm Alvin King, and I'd like to welcome you to a new episode of our show tonight. We are so glad that you are here on this Friday, February the 4th. And for those of you who don't know, we have 44 more days until perhaps we'll have a consistent, you know, weather pattern that at least works for me. It's called spring. I'm looking forward to that. But I hope this week has been really, really good for all of you. And as always, I am so happy that you guys are tuning in to our show tonight. Our show tonight, The Art of Friendships. We thought that we would bring this show to you and have a conversation tonight because there is so much going on in the world that, without friends, believe me, life would be not a good place. And if anybody in your life tells you that they don't have any friends, you need to talk to them, okay? Because there's something going on. But before I move any further, let me give you a disclaimer. Uh, because of this conversation tonight, I want you to know that we are not mental health professionals. We are not therapists. We are not doctors. We are merely having a conversation with you and being what we strive to be, a resource to all of you about a topic that we think is important and we think that we all should talk about. And again, our show, The Art of Friendships. Many of you have friends, so you know what we're talking about. And healthy friendships, many of you also know about them. They can increase your sense of belonging and purpose. They can also boost and reduce stress. They can boost happiness and reduce stress in your life. They can improve your self-confidence and your self-worth. But the right friends, ladies and gentlemen, can help you cope with trauma such as divorce, serious illness, job loss, and the death of a loved one. And also, if you need somebody just to be with you, at a time when you just can't find anyone else, a friend can really be that good sounding board or someone that you can have in your life. But over the last 4 years, let's be honest, the divisive political climate that we've been living in and dealing with the racial inequalities in the world, and not to mention the abrupt isolation that we all have faced with our physical connections associated with COVID, has made us all have to look at our friendships and reevaluate the people who we have in our lives that we call friends. But on a flip side, tonight we're going to talk about friendships because there are a lot of people, young people, who are taking their lives. And I'm not to say that they don't have any friends, but when I think of people like Ian Alexander, who is the son of Regina King, and then there was a funeral for the mayor of Hyattsville, Mr. Kevin Ward. He passed away. May he rest in peace. He committed suicide. And then there's Chelsea Christ, the 2019 Miss USA. She jumped off of a building, or I'm not going to say they said suicide, but the investigation still continues. But they're saying that she committed suicide, ladies and gentlemen. So there's a lot of things going on in the world. And we think having a good friend is a good thing to have. So speaking of good friends, I want to bring in my co-host tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because he has become just that, Mr. Vash Bodhi. Can you come on in, Vash?
Hey, Alvin.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right, baby. How you doing?
I'm fine. Is it cold up in Philly?
You know what? It is always cold in Philly. Except for when
Okay.
it's not. When it's hot, it's hot. But right now, yeah, it's cold. That cold front, which has been moving across the country, is definitely with us.
Yeah, has it been raining there too? Because it's
Yes, it
raining
has.
here. It has today? Okay.
It has almost wiped away all the snow that we had, which was sticking around for a while.
Okay. Well, look. We got some folks on here.
Just
Monica
about to
has
say.
joined us. Hey, Monica. And there's Edgar and Jessif and Marlon Richardson. Oh my God, we got another Philly man in the house. Hey, Marlon.
Hey,
And
Marlon.
Alma and Sean. thank you all for joining us tonight.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We know you can be someplace else. And spoiler alert, okay, the Olympics, I saw the opening ceremony. So it's really good because they
I
know how to
missed
put
it.
on a show. Oh,
Yes.
it's amazing.
Really? Wow. Okay. When did it
I
come on?
6 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I
I want to
saw it.
watch it.
It is truly, truly amazing. So, but thank you all for being here tonight. So grab your cocktails. We're gonna talk about Friends,
Yes,
okay?
indeed.
We got something to tell you. But also, did you hear what happened this week, Bosh, with Whoopi Goldberg?
I did. The world is talking about that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes. What you thinking about?
Well, I got, for those of you who don't know, Whoopi Goldberg was suspended by her network. She's on the show The View, and she was suspended this week because she made a comment, about the Holocaust. And I don't want to say I don't want to quote what she said, but apparently, whatever she said, it was not well received, and she apologized, but they gave her a 2-week suspension.
Mm-hmm.
What I have to say about that is you don't have to accept every RSVP when you get an invite. So sometimes you just need to just be quiet and not say anything. Just because you have the platform to say anything doesn't mean that you should. And we can scream freedom of speech all day long. But when
Mm-hmm.
you're in a certain position, like she is, where you have to be careful of what you say, aka on this show that we're doing right now. You sometimes just need to be quiet and not say anything. Just.
Well, I mean, I don't think that she thought that she was saying anything that was so incorrect. And I guess that's what they all do. They all think they're saying something that's really like on the money that needs to be heard by the world. And then they realize, oh, I should have kept my mouth shut. But what people are talking about is how she was both right and wrong in what she was saying. And she was trying to come at it from a very specific place and perspective on her point. Do you think she deserved to be suspended?
Well, I think that, you know what, I know this is a show. I'm gonna say, do I just think she deserved to be? Well, let me put it this way: if she deserved to have gotten suspended, then they need to shut down Fox, because I don't know. I'm going to change the topic. I'm going to move on.
You're
because
hilarious.
I'm going to move on because, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who look at The Masked Singer, I don't know if you heard it or not. The show hasn't aired, but The Masked Singer had Rudy Giuliani on this week. Okay, and Rudy Giuliani was on The Masked Singer. It won't air until March, but when of course, he probably was the first one to go because he probably can't sing, amongst other things he can't do. But this is a known insurrectionist.
Mm-hmm.
And Fox had him on the show. And Robin Thicke and the other host, Ken Jeong, they walked off the stage when they pulled the mask off.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, first of all, I know they're doing it for ratings to have Giuliani on there. But if they're going to suspend Whoopi for 2 weeks for what she said, then they need to shut Fox down tonight.
See, these
for
are
having Rudy Giuliani on there.
They're such separate issues, though. It's like when you think about what advertising is, most advertising that happens is to change and correct behavior. Fox, with all that they've got going on with this January 6th probe and finding out how all their personalities were somehow involved, have a really wonderful opportunity to completely desensitize people to all of that, stir some stuff up, and change the narrative on what's going on and how people are looking at January 6th. Throwing Rudy Giuliani on there was just really, to me, a publicity stunt and a way of desensitizing people. Get you talking about Giuliani in a different way, about all this stuff in a different way. And that, they decided to do that. And there was a specific reason for that. I think Whoopi being suspended was it was almost obligatory because with all the cancellations and things that happened with other people saying things, here was an opportunity where she said some stuff. It was controversial. They're like, let's suspend you, put you aside. They said, just think about what you said.
Right.
People are going to have a conversation. She's going to come back. Everything's going to be groovy. But they had to do that. Fox is doing some stuff that's just really trying to change people's perceptions on what's going on.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I still say, Fox, how low can you go?
Well,
Okay,
they
how
would
they and I, that question, I might be asking that question for the rest of my life
every time
because
someone asks that question, they show us how
right,
much lower they can go. So
they
please
can
stop
go low.
asking.
Yeah, so hopefully Whoopi will be back on the air in a week or so, and we will have her back. Hey Bobby. Hey Scott, thank you for joining us tonight. Really appreciate you guys being here. Hey Blue. So we're
Hi,
gonna go
Tammy.
ahead and oh,
Yeah,
hey
my friend Tammy from
Tammy.
high school. So we're going to talk about
Hey
like old time
Tammy.
friends later, but
Hey Tammy. Hey Tammy. Thank you for being here. Okay, you guys. We're gonna go ahead and move on with our show tonight, The Art of Friendship, because Vosh and I have really put a show together for you guys. And look, we want to hear from you. So look, some of your comments may be delayed, but please, we want to hear from you. And please speak on some of these points that we're going to talk about, because if it's happened to me, it's happened to you. So, okay, let's go ahead and start. So one of the greatest philosophers in history, Aristotle, he said that there are three types of friends. And one of them is the friendships of utility, which exist between you and someone who is useful to you in some way. And then there are friendships of pleasure that exist between you and those whose company you enjoy. And then there are friendships of good that are based on mutual respect and admiration. So my question to you, Vash, and to the viewers is based on Aristotle's theory of those 3 points of types of friends. Would you agree or disagree that this defines what a friend is?
I think since Aristotle's time, we have come up with other words to describe what some of these different categories that he has, right? Like a friendship of utility.
Yeah.
If it's business, you call them associates or colleagues.
Right.
You don't necessarily
Exactly.
call them friends per se, unless it is a friend and you guys just happen to just do things for one another. I mean, because those things do happen as well.
Well, and to that point, not to cut you off, but I have deemed you, even though I'm going to say just based on Aristotle's principles of 3 points, I have
Right.
deemed you a friendship of utility, because I actually haven't met Vosh, you guys. Okay, I don't know what Vosh feet look like. I don't know. We've been doing this show for a year, and I love him dearly. But Vosh and I have a friendship that is based on our business relationship, and so yeah. So to his point of utility, I can definitely say that you are friendship and you are useful to me in a lot of ways. So yeah.
That's hilarious. And you to me as well. So that's kind of fantastic. And what's hilarious is I tell people, I'm like, I don't know how tall Alvin is. I'm like, if I were to see Alvin, I may not be able to recognize him, because if he's taller or shorter, my perspective of you when I see you is straight on because of the way that this framing is. But if you're short or tall, I might not even know you.
Well, I guarantee you will not look past me. I will run into you. Okay, I will do that. So yeah, so I think his points as we go through the show, they do have a place. But you are right. The narrative have changed over the years,
Sure.
and we say different things. So I guess my next question is, let's get right into it. What is the difference in a good friend and a true friend? Because I see a lot of that in my research. They go back between a good friend and a true friend.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, um, if I look at it from this way of, I look at my life as a theater, and everyone's in the arena, okay? And so if I looked at it a good and true friends, because I believe in truth and honesty, that's a guiding force in me developing my friendship. Hell, Popeye's chicken is good, but God is great. So if you're in my theater, then I'm going to have my true friends are up front. My good friends are somewhere, that you're in the theater, but you're in that first tier. You know what I'm saying? You're not in the orchestra section. So that's how I define or separate, good friends versus a true friend, you know.
Well, then what? But then how do you distinguish between them? Like, what makes someone a good friend and what makes someone a true friend?
Well, a good friend, I haven't developed trust with you yet.
Right, because I'm like, somebody's helping you hide the body,
Right.
and the one
Like
that's helping you hide the body is
that's a true friend.
okay.
As Terry said, a good friend will help you move. A true friend will help. A good friend will help you
Thank you.
move. A true friend will help you move a body. No,
This is
you
what
and
I'm
Boss didn't
saying,
say
right?
that.
Thank
Okay.
you, thank you, thank you. And see, Terry, this is why we see eye to eye.
Okay,
Thank you.
right. Exactly. Exactly. So, there I understand it, but I just wanted to see what the viewers think because yeah, I can make the distinction. I definitely can do that.
Mhm,
Yeah, because again, based on my morals and my principles and what I believe in, when I look at my friends, my good friends, yeah, you good,
mhm.
but my true friends are the ones that I can definitely depend on. So yeah, 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 yeah.
And for
Okay,
me, I mean, I have good friends, and then I have friends who know everything that there is to know about me.
yeah.
Right? Like, regardless of whatever happens, good, bad, or indifferent, there are certain friends that know all of those details.
And let me ask you, and I'm going to go off script a little bit with you here, Bosh. Does that have to develop over time, or can you? 'Cause sometimes you can meet a friend. Sometimes some of the friends you have, you've cultivated those friendships for like 10 years, maybe
Mhm.
20 years. But then you can meet someone in a year, and a couple of them are on this screen right now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That the moment I met them, I knew that you were going to be a good friend, and this has been a relationship for like maybe 2 or 3 years, or 4 or 5 years versus 45 years with my friends. So does it really matter how much time, the time that it takes to become a friend, a good friend, or a real friend to you?
No, I think that some of those things can be relatively instantaneous.
Hmm.
You know, there are friends on this feed that show up that I've known from high school. I went to high school in the Philippines.
Hmm.
It was on a military base.
Hmm.
So when I met someone, I knew that I was going to have roughly 750 days with them before they were rotated out, which meant I either had to figure out whether I liked them or not. And if I liked them, that we had to just become as good friends as possible because we had to make the most use of our time. So I'm really quick to judge someone's friendship with me,
Right. Yeah.
and if it's not right, they can take a tear down or just be gone altogether. But the friends that I make, yeah, it's pretty instantaneous.
Well, God gave me the power of discernment. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yes, He
yeah.
did. He gave it to me, and I know how to use it now. So I know how to use it wisely. So Sean says that he thinks a good friend knows your story,
Hmm.
um, knows your story, but a true friend has lived with you, one that has been there through thick and thin. I'm sure he was saying yes. I agree with
Hmm.
you, Sean. I do. So,
Hmm.
okay. Our next point that we're going to dive into before we get a little saucy up in here. Um, how do you determine if someone is a real friend when you meet them? Is
Mm.
it chemistry? Is it organic? How do you know that someone is a real friend? And
What,
mhm.
what would you say?
Well, I think it's all subjective. First of all, there are some people who I meet that breaks down. They don't look at me as Alvin, someone who's not approachable. They look at me as they look at me for who I am right at that moment. They start a conversation. We connect. Immediately. The friends that I can determine are not a real friend or probably won't be as fast of a friend as someone else is when they start picking and choosing words that they're going to say around me because they don't know what I'm going to say or how I'm going to react. Just have the conversation no matter what. Just be yourself is what I'm saying. And that for me will determine, at least lay the groundwork or the foundation as to whether or not someone can be a real friend.
Really?
Yeah.
that's kind of interesting
Mhm.
because I would say that I'm one of those people that chooses my words carefully. One, because I want to make sure that I'm telling you what it is that I want to convey
Mhm.
using the right words.
Mhm.
And two, I just want to make sure that I am feeling you out properly because you may not be ready for all of this, like all of this at one time.
Well,
So,
that just goes to show why you're a good friend to me, because I was ready for it. You know what? And so, okay, like I said, it's all subjective, but you
uh-huh.
came at me. Yes, I know you are very, you do pick and choose your words,
Hmm.
and as most people should. But I'm saying there's no pretension, and I hope I'm
That's
not
what you're
steering
saying.
off. That's
Right.
what
I
I'm
think
saying.
what you're saying.
There's no pretentious. That there's no,
Right.
no pretentiousness about how you approach someone.
Right.
I
Okay.
get quintessential Vosh.
Yes, that right.
Period.
And I guess that's what it comes down to. My response to that question is really it's about energy. Like you can feel an energy coming from someone and
Mm-hmm.
a genuine energy coming from someone connecting to your energy. It just feels right. There are people that you just meet and you're like, don't go away from me right now. Stick around or I'll follow you around the party or we're going to hang out. You just want to have that energy going back and forth. So I think you're saying it with words and I'm saying it with energy.
Yeah, and I agree with you on the energy piece. I do play off my energy. I am a person who, for those people who do know me, I try to give off, no, I give off good energy.
Okay.
I make it a point. I live in good energy, so I give it off. And for those who can't receive it, I give off good energy. Okay, just know that I'm not going to say anything else. I give off good energy. So okay, so so okay.
Joseph has said a true friend is the person who is still there when you suck your most.
Oh,
That's yeah.
Joseph, Joseph, just for a moment, Joseph, I had to, I blinked. You're right, Joseph. I
Hmm.
read that last line. You're right. You're right. And by suck, she means when you're at your worst.
Yes.
When you're at your worst. Okay, when you're at your worst. Okay, okay. So next question is, thank you, Joseph. Are Facebook friends real friends? And if they are not, why do people freak out when someone unfriends them?
Ha 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 ha. Okay, so this seems like it's a two-part question. One, Facebook friends are not real friends, right? I mean, unless they become real friends, and there's a process by which that
It's a
happens.
process, yeah.
I think people freak out when they get unfriended or deleted is because not all communication is verbal.
Hmm. Hmm.
And being unfriended and unfollowed is a way of saying, I don't want your energy coming around me.
Yeah,
At least that's my take on it.
yeah. But now I'm going to put this on back on the person who gets deleted,
Okay.
because if you are the type of person that have worked on who you are,
Hmm.
and if your self-esteem is in the right place, something like being deleted, if it shouldn't bother you. If and I'm going to say especially if it's not bringing you money. If it's not, if you're being deleted, sometimes yeah, if your self-confidence and awareness of the fact that Facebook friends are, like you said, they're just not, they're not real friends. So you should be able to maneuver through that. That should be an issue. But if you're out there being thirsty, and we, by thirsty, everyone, thirsty is a is what they say when some people, and some might, okay, when people put pictures out there that are provocative. And for those of you who want to sling at me tonight, yes, you may say I'm thirsty, but I'm not. Okay, some of the pictures I put out there, it just is. Okay, I'm good with that. There's nothing thirsty about me, but I'm sure some of you on here might say, "Oh, Alvin, you fit that bill." But if you're just thirsty, and you're looking for that because your confidence is not in the right place, then yeah, you're going to be affected by that. When people, on social media, doesn't have to be Facebook, it can be Instagram or any place else, when
Hmm.
when they delete you. So my suggestion is, get your life together. fix you. Fix you.
Also, if you're someone who's on like social media and you're saying things that are either provocative or controversial, you got to understand that people are going to find that tiresome and move away. So you can't take that personally. You just got to understand that there's just not a match.
Yeah, but some people on Facebook, they know they've maneuvered the art of making you, getting under, getting to you and saying the right things, and next thing you know, you've sent them your phone number, and in some cases, some people have sent them, their credit cards, So oh, come on now, come on, those stories are true. So people know what to say. They've been on social media and they know how to maneuver and get people to do what they want to do. But I guess our point that we're trying to make, if I'm correct, Facebook friends are not real friends, everybody.
I don't think they're friends. I mean, people, you can be friends with someone because they found you through another friend.
Okay. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Okay. So,
but so what happens if you're friends with someone, you know them, you become Facebook friends, and then you block them?
It just is.
Okay.
It just is. I mean, it just is. And hopefully there's a reason why you want to stick around with it, but there's a reason why you do it. But
so then what happens when you run into them at a party?
I say hello if I need to, or I don't feel the need to. I'm not going to put myself in an awkward situation where I need to explain to you why I deleted you. I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Especially not in public. You don't get Bernard in public.
What?
You get Alvin in public. Okay. You're not going to get Bernard, because Bernard will say things to you in Bernard is a different beast. Okay. So, right. Thank you, Terry. I'm not going to give you shade. Okay. I'm not going to do that. I keep Alvin at the forefront at all times in public. So yeah. So I'm not going to even subscribe to anybody's foolery about why I deleted them on Facebook. I'm 62 years old. Bye. Okay. Easy. So what are specific characteristics, Vosh, that you look for in a friend?
I would say sincerity, confidence, good sense of humor.
Yeah. I think I can tell right off the bat if someone is being genuine. So I look for that. I look for if someone's being, genuine. I also, as I get to know the person, when I'm getting to know them, I look for consistency. If you're consistent, and that leads into honesty, because if you're a consistent liar, be a consistent liar so I can figure it out. If you're a consistent gamer, be a consistent gamer. Just be who you are. Don't try to. So I look for those things. I do look for people, or one of the things that I hope that a person has when I meet them, that they are, they have some charm about them, and they're not insecure. That's it, without picking them apart and going down the list. Yeah, consistency, charm, that they're not insecure, and that that you are who you say that you are. You know what I'm saying? Bring your authentic self. Yeah, be your authentic self. Let me get to know who you are and not your representative.
Yeah. You brought up a very good point. Like lying. No, that's a definite deal breaker.
Oh my God. And I know we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, but yeah, lying. Yeah. Okay. Lying is not a good look.
We can deal with the truth. Like whatever that truth is, we can deal with that.
Yeah. Terry says, Jessup said that I know people who have unfriended each other because they didn't have anything to talk about because of it. Okay. And then Terry said, and I want to make sure, Terry said that usually honors commitment. So
that's a characteristic for a friend.
Okay, for a friend. Hey, Randy, how you doing? Thank you for agreeing with me. Thank you for joining the show tonight. And I see my brother-in-law is on here.
Hey,
And
brother.
hey, brother-in-law, he said, as I've gotten older, moved around, got married, got sober, advanced my career, and have become a parent, I've become spread too thin. My relationships have suffered. I crave the type of connections I used to have. Guess I need to reset my priorities, slow down, focus my energy and my time, and those who have the energy and time and authenticity for me.
Yeah.
Wow, brother-in-law. Yeah. Go
And
ahead,
Tammy
Vosh.
said a very similar thing. She said, the older I get, I'm no longer interested in fair weather friends. It's okay to let people go if they don't respect me or leaving me doubting their motives or intentions. No narcissists or meanies anymore. I mean, it seems like Carl and Tammy basically said similar things. Y'all should know
Yeah,
each other.
yeah, and to that, if this will help to Carl and Tammy regarding your points, you know, because of the therapy that I've had, I have learned that I am where I'm supposed to be. I am where I'm supposed to be at the time that now that doesn't work for everybody. I get it. But, sometimes, and we will get into this in some other questions, but sometimes when it comes to getting older and thinking that I certainly don't have the same energy for the people who I used to be around. I don't, but I'm okay with where I am. And I found a way to tell myself every day until something comes along and changes that, Alvin, you are okay with where you are. And so that's my advice that I would say to you all regarding your points, and not to desensitize what you said, but I think that's the advice that I would give you. Yeah.
I think you guys are all on the same Greyhound. And
Mhm.
then Sean says, the thing I'm looking for is kindness, honesty, nurturing, loyal, and non judgmental.
That's why you my friend, Sean. Thank you. Thank you. I get it. So are all of your friends categorized in the same way, Vosh?
No, they never have been.
Why is
You
that?
know, um,
Well, why not?
well, I mean, there are some friends that are all encompassing that I can maybe do all things with. There are some friends that are particular to a certain type of thing, right? Like I don't go to horror movies with all my friends. There's some friends that don't like going to horror movies. So there's some
Right.
friends I have that like specifically I like to go see certain types of movies with or do certain types of things. Um, you've got all encompassing friends, and then there's friends with benefits. I would not put those into the same category.
Okay, but you will not. And yes, yes.
That seemed like that tickled you in a particular
All of a sudden,
place.
my hair stood up on my head.
Yes, it did.
You
I
know,
felt that change of
as,
energy.
as far as far as the categories, I have to agree with you. I'm sorry, I'm shaking my table, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all got me. This conversation got me a little intense. But when it comes to categorizing my friends, I don't have a lot of friends. First of all, I
Okay.
don't have a lot of friends. A lot of people think I do, but I don't have a lot of friends. But the friends that I have, they are categorized in a way that allows me to be who I am. And they help me be a better Alvin. And they bring different things to me. So I do, like you said, I categorize them, and I do that so that I can feel more balanced and more well-rounded with the people who I have in my life. So to that's why um, all of my friends are categorized. That's why I can say that they are. None are better than the other.
No.
They bring their own specific everything to my life. So yeah.
Yes, I'm totally interested to hear what people watching have to say about the categorization.
Mhm,
But I'm with you. It's not like anyone is any better or less than. As
mhm.
a matter of fact, across all categories, all of my friends would love and do love all of my other friends.
Yeah,
If I
yeah,
have a friend that I'm sort of like wondering about, none of my other friends will like them.
right. Whew, okay, Vosh, you just again, you're making my hair stand up. Thank you for that. You're right.
Yeah.
And Robert says with COVID, um, I've let those go who can't check on me as I've checked on them.
Hmm.
I don't have the energy to maintain
One-sided.
one-sided relationships. I echo you in a whole. Yes, I do, Robert. And Sean says the thing I look for kind. Oh, Okay, I'm sorry. That came up again. I'm sorry. That was yeah, we had addressed that with Sean. So, do you think friends are seasonal? Are there such a term as seasonal friends?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you because I used to do the circuit parties, you know, travel around the world. And I mean, I made some wonderful friends doing circuit party when I would go to the circuit parties. And whether I was in Spain or whether I was in Canada or whether I was in DC, for that moment, for those 5 days, some of those people became some of my best friends. And I do stay in touch with them, but I look at them as seasonal friends.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I definitely look at them because I have a great time with them whenever well, when I used to. Homeboy doesn't go to circuit parties anymore. But yeah, I definitely think that friends can be seasonal. So yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, as a spiritual person, I definitely believe that the universe, God, however you want to refer to that energy, will put people into your path to assist you, to support you, to bring certain things out of you. And those friendships may not last for whatever reason, whether geographically or whatever the reason. And I look at those as being sort of seasonal friends as well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know?
I feel you. I completely feel you on that.
Mm-hmm.
So are work friends a good idea?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Um,
It
because I
depends on
just
the
saw something.
relationship. It depends
It
on the
does depend on the
relationship.
relationship.
You know, if you're gonna be, having relations with your work friends, relations
Hmm.
meaning, intimate relationships with them, that's not a good idea. But
Right.
I have to say, I have a work wife and I have a work husband. Okay, I do, and they are amazing. They know who they are. I call them my work wife and my work husband, and they are very good friends of mine. I invite
Hmm.
them to my home. I
Okay.
invite them to special events. They get me inside and outside of work. They are the people who I can have lunch with and leave lunch and go back to work.
Right.
They are a wonderful distraction from my job sometimes. So yeah, I do think that you can have work friends and they can be good.
Well, I mean, isn't there this thing that people say that the places where you make friends, especially as an adult, are going to be either in school, at work, or in like your activities. So your workplace is a great place to find friends.
Hmm.
You just can't assume that everyone that you work with is your friend,
Right. Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. Yeah. That is another point. And my work wife just commented. Hey Monica.
Roll call.
she, she just commented. Randy said that work friends can be beneficial if you are limited to friends outside of the out of the work environment.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, as long as you manage it, right? And
Exactly.
Joseph said sometimes those seasonal friendships are for their benefit, not yours. Come on, Joseph.
Yes.
Um, eh, Thank you, Joseph. And she
Yeah.
also said that work friends are dangerous.
They can be. I mean, you have to really understand who they are and where they fit in, which gets back to what are the things that you look for to determine whether or not someone is actually being a friend.
Right.
But, you know, anytime I've worked on any job, and I did production for a while where sometimes you were on a gig for only 9 months and then you were off for a while onto another gig.
Mhm.
If I could take one person from that whole gig of 150 people on the call sheet, if I could take one person away and have that person still be a friend over the years, that was always a win and a goal.
Mhm.
So to have two or three, like you were saying, is an absolute benefit. But yeah, I think work friends are good.
Mhm.
Um, you just have to be careful in how you pick them
You
because
gotta manage them. You gotta
yeah,
manage them like you manage everything else. So
right.
yeah, so I think I agree with you. I think that they're good. So
And I want to talk for just a quick second about what Jessica said about sometimes seasonal friends are for their benefit, not yours.
mhm,
And I think that's powerful in a number of ways
mhm,
because if I can be used as a vessel for energy or positivity to help support another person on the planet going through something.
Yeah.
I find that as being a blessing above and beyond, because there are times that is delivered to me, and I love being able to be that person for other people.
Yeah. Okay. I received that.
Mm-hmm.
I received that. So earlier you mentioned actually a characteristic, and Vash, and you mentioned friends with benefits.
Oh, hey, now I did,
So
didn't
you did. So we're going to talk about friends with benefits, and we want to know, does friends with benefits work? But before we do that, I'm going to read you all the Urban Dictionary meaning of friends with benefits. Okay, it says that two friends who trust each other enough to engage in sexual activity without fear of hurting the other's feelings. Ideal scenario for folk who are not interested in a serious relationship or who do not have time for one. Not a boyfriend or girlfriend. Neither party has to refrain from dating other people. A smart alternative to random hookups. And there have been songs and there have been movies talking about friends with benefits. So for all of you who are watching, I just want to know if you all have ever been in a situation where you've had friends with benefits. Because I have, and I'm gonna say, when I needed it to work for me,
uh-huh.
I made it work for me. And when it didn't work for me, I needed to step back and let it go. Because if for me, if you're in a situation where you're friends with benefits, then you need to have a high level of respect for yourself,
Okay.
because you can lose. Thank you, Randy. You can, because once you lose yourself and lose respect for yourself, then you open yourself up to other things like emotional stuff that shouldn't be involved in a friends with benefits situation.
Well,
But
I'm with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly, because in
mhm,
that situation, if there's not a sense of self and self-worth,
mhm,
then it's not a beneficial situation. It's sort of a parasitical relationship where someone's trying to get more from that than the other person's willing to give.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you need to be. Oh, I'm sorry.
Able
Go
to,
ahead. Mhm.
I was going to say, and you also have to be able to communicate. Like, both parties have to understand that that is what your friendship and relationship is. Otherwise, again, you have somebody who's wanting more than the other person's willing to give, and that does not last for very long.
Well, I have one. And as far as friends with benefits, as I said, I've said that I've been in a situation with friends with benefits. I can deal with all of it except for what you mentioned earlier. When you lie,
Mm-hmm.
when you lie, then you have broken. I don't like people to lie to me,
Right.
because one of the things that is paramount in a friends with benefits situation is trust.
Right.
Trust that the person's going to take care of you the way you're taking care of them. But when, for me, the bond can break or have been broken. I'm not in a friends with benefits situation right now, so it will, once you lie, that can end it for me. That can end it for me. So Randy says, until the other person starts to catch feelings, then that changes the dynamic of the relationship. True. And Jessup said, Vosh, help me here because my eyes
No worries. He
are.
says, to think that you could be 100% of what someone else needs emotionally and physically is very narcissistic.
Come on now.
Okay, preach. Uh,
Preach. Okay. Pass the plate to Jessup. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay.
yeah,
So yeah.
we've
So
we've touched on this lying thing in terms of friendships
mhm,
now twice,
yeah.
in different dynamics of friendship.
Mhm.
Um, it all comes down to, if someone lies to you about anything,
Anything.
how do you trust anything that comes out of their mouth?
It's hard for me. It's
Right.
hard for me. And I know I've tried. I know this, yeah, I have tried to move through it. and we're going to talk about behavior.
Okay, but
Yeah,
let's stay on
yeah,
friends with benefits for a second, because
okay,
one
yeah.
thing that Randy said, which is they work until someone catches feelings. There's an art, but from taking someone out of a friends with benefits situation into something more dynamic, and then also taking them out of that friends with benefits situation into just being friends.
Mhm,
Have
mhm.
you had that experience?
Me or Randy?
Well, let's say to both. Randy, you can tell us what you did.
Randy's the one who threw it out there. Okay.
That's hilarious.
For me, because I'm at a place in my life where, say if I wasn't in a relationship, could I have one? So yeah, I could handle one if I wasn't. But it's all about dynamic. I think, I agree with what Randy is saying. If until the dynamic changes of the relationship, and for me, dynamic would be lie,
Okay.
or if I found someone else that makes me say, okay, you know,
Well,
I'm getting what I need,
I hear you.
and gotta go.
I
Yeah,
hear you.
but be honest about it. So yes, okay. Look, I just got the Klimt. Friends of benefits, and so we better move on to the next question, Voss. Can we move to the next
We can
question?
move to the next question.
Okay, can men and women be friends? I'm gonna say yes.
I'm going to say yes too.
I'm,
I
I'm
think it's
gonna.
almost essential.
I think it's almost essential,
Hmm.
and I'm not gonna beat that horse because I could pick that apart a little bit.
Yes.
Based on my relationships with women,
Hmm.
um, because I like strong women.
Okay.
I like strong women. I like women, being a black gay man and having a woman as a friend. I want to be my friendships with women. I want to have women who are independent.
Hmm.
I don't like anyone who's needy. And so I don't want to, it's very hard for me to be around women who want to say, who are needy and playing damsel in distress all the time.
Right.
That's a very hard situation for me to be in because my mother was a strong woman. And so I look at all women who are my friends. I, I like strong women. So yes, I can be. I just like strong women. Mhm.
And Randy said his best friend for 35 years is a woman. I think that dynamic is important. And I think we're talking about it from a gay man's perspective to a
Right.
straight female's perspective. But I also think that it's important with straight men and straight women. I mean,
Mhm.
I know Steve Harvey, when I heard this question, I thought immediately of Steve Harvey. He said he cannot have female friends because he's always going to be looking for an opportunity to have sex with that person. And I think that
What?
is that shows such a character deficit to
Yeah.
me, that
Yes.
you cannot be looking at another individual and not think about whether or not you're just trying to have a sexual conquest. It's just extremely one-sided. Anyway,
The fact that he said that is disturbing. I never heard that, but if yeah, that's disturbing within itself. So
it kind
okay,
of is, right?
right, yeah.
Yes. So to jump
It's
back in, I think it's essential because it helps one
yeah,
to deal. It teaches you about yourself as you are also learning about someone else and someone else's experience. I think it's
right.
essential.
Hmm.
Variety of friendships is
Bobby said,
important.
consider the source. You got that right.
Yes,
Okay.
Bobby. Thank you for that. Thank you. Because I do. I
So
do.
so Voss, what are the benefits of gay and straight men being friends?
Oh my gosh. I think that's also another essential type of friendship.
I think it's
Um,
essential. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, there's so much more to what being a man is than just wanting to find women um, to bed, right? And I think that when straight men and gay men are friends, that foundation gets to be expanded upon. And I think
Hmm.
it gives straight men a freedom to be more of who they are.
Hmm.
Um, for single straight men, you really do need to have gay male friends because we know all the hot ladies.
Well, and if you have any of us around your female friends, believe me, they will be asking us tips that they can share with you. So don't be misled,
Yes.
my straight brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Don't be misled on that. But I think there's a strong benefit for me of having, gay, as a gay man, having straight relationships with my friend, or my friends who are straight. They are my friends, and I have several friends who are straight, who are my good friends, and so there are huge benefits, and I wouldn't be Alvin without having them in my life. So yeah.
Well, what are some of the benefits that you've gotten that you've gotten or they've gotten? What are benefits?
Well, I'm just going to say, just for me, I think just looking at the world differently,
Yeah.
looking at the world in a way that I don't have to look at the world.
Right.
And so seeing how someone else thinks about, a world, part of the world that I don't look at, that's a learning. I'm learning something about that. I'm learning how a straight person thinks, and it's not all black and white. And so having that variety around me, for me personally, it works for me.
Do you think that there is a thing as straight privilege that exists? Because I think that that's something that I see as well. That there's a straight privilege that happens that sometimes I tap into when I hang out with my straight male friends. That is not necessarily there when I'm just out with my gay friends.
I haven't experienced that. I have to be honest with you.
We're going to talk about that later then.
We can talk about that later, but I haven't experienced that. Yeah, I haven't. There's another privilege, but that's a different show. And so I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that. So what did Edgar say? I really, really enjoyed the episode. Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you, Edgar.
Thanks,
I appreciate it. And Bobby says, gay men are well aware that our being gay doesn't make us less a man. Straight men often have that to learn.
Yes.
They become more broad in their understanding of being a man.
Exactly.
Bravo. Well said.
That's exactly what I meant. Yeah, totally.
Got you. So, oh my God. So the next question. Can your mother and father be your best friend? I'm just gonna say no.
No.
I'm just gonna say no. I'm just gonna say no. Your mom and daddy cannot be your best friend. That's all I can say. Okay. So are you okay with that, Vosh? You got anything to say?
I am okay with that. If I say anything else, I'm gonna make somebody feel bad.
Okay. So the next, how do you address a good friendship for bad behavior?
What do you mean?
For example, you got your best friend in the world. Your best friend does something that is really bad, and you say to yourself, if you knew me, you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have said that. Okay. How do you address that? How do you I think if I had a relationship, if you are a friend, I'm just going to tell you, I'm straight up. I'm just going to tell you how I feel. We're going to talk about it because, I feel that healthy relationships require critical conversations. And so I'm going to have it with you. And so that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to have a critical conversation with you for your bad behavior.
In the moment, are you going to wait? Are you going to pull them aside in the moment? Are you going to wait for another opportunity the day after, say over brunch? Like when are you going to do it?
It depends on behavior, because if you're drunk and you drop a drink on me, we're going to talk right now. Okay, so right, or if you steal my money, you know what I'm saying? I'm joking. It depends on the situation. Yeah, right. But definitely a conversation will be had, and it will be direct. It will definitely be direct to you.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with that. It's like, you have to, if it's a friendship that's worth saving, you have to have that conversation, because no one's perspective is 100% accurate for someone else's experience.
Exactly. So, yeah, I would have to do it. So,
honesty is a form of self-love. Yes, Bobby says that honesty and from a source of love. Yes,
I agree with you. So, are friends assessments necessary?
Ooh, this is interesting. If someone comes up to me and says, you know what, you're not being a good friend to me.
Right. right, right,
I
right,
mean, it's
right,
like,
right.
if I think I'm doing a good job and you think that you need more from me, and this is your way of telling me, maybe we're not good friends.
I say do what you have to do. Life's too short. If you think you need to do an assessment on me, do it. Do it because you know when you've done bad. You know when
Yes.
you know when you've done bad. And so if a friend comes to me and says, because I got some friends that just stop speaking to me. Just
Hmm.
I thought they were friends. Well, no, I have to go back to Aristotle's. They were utility. And see, I didn't know that at the time. Okay, they
We'll
they were
see.
they were utility, but
They
they
were
stopped
utility.
speaking to me. But I didn't know that at the time. So yeah, I've done an assessment. Hey, look, that means that you're not a good a friend as I thought you were. So that means, okay, you got to go.
But this now, see, asking this question after having the question about, uh, how do you handle bad behavior?
Hmm.
Then it's a matter of having a conversation to see whether or not there is an understanding of the same situation or an understanding of the same, reaching a similar understanding of what may have happened. So I can understand having an assessment. It's just
Yeah,
another conversation.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I definitely think it's worth it. So let me see. We got 4 minutes, Vosh, and
Oh my
so
gosh, this went by
I
really
know it
fast.
went by really fast. So I'm not even okay. I'm just going to go. This is a real quick one. In
Okay.
this world of social media, is it a good idea to end a friendship via text message? No.
Ooh, really? Why not?
Because if you're a friend, I'm gonna call you. I mean, you can do whatever you. I am not going to. Especially depends on what you've done. I'm not going to just send you a text and say friendship's over. When I look at friendships, you deserve a call from me. I need to either call you or see you direct.
So you've
So
never done a soft purge on a friend?
what's a soft purge?
A soft purge is when it's you just kind of don't really speak anymore.
No, I try not to do that. I'm not saying that I've never done it.
Hmm.
I just don't agree with it. Soft purges. I'm like I said. I'm an adult.
Hmm.
And if you do something with me, I don't want to go to bed wishing I had said something to you that I could have said to you directly.
Or
So
heard what
or
you
heard.
wanted to. Okay.
Nope. I don't
Okay.
want I don't want to be misconstrued. So
So suppose you do it through a text, but you're like, hey, you got anything else you need to say to me? And they're like, I don't have nothing to say to you. You're like, then go away then.
if I do that and they don't respond to me,
Hmm.
then I'm not going to chase them in a
Okay.
discussion. No.
Okay.
But the only thing I would do with a text is say, "Are you available?"
Okay. I hear
And if
you.
they say, "I'm not for you anymore," okay, great. I'm going to have coffee someplace else. So can friendship breakups be worse than an intimate breakup? Yes or no?
Yeah. Much more so. Cause like a friend, there was a moment in time when I realized that my intimate relationships need to have the same sort of intimacy that I have with my friends. I
Mhm.
mean, not physical intimacy, but that sort of connection. When you've got a friend and you've gone through times and they've seen you at your most vulnerable and, without expectation of anything else, I mean, someone deeply, deeply, deeply. To lose that can be extremely traumatic. There's another person coming along to date. There may not be another friend to come along like that.
I think friendship breakups are harder.
Hmm.
And so I really do than breakups. So we had two more questions, Vosh, but we are near the end of the show and we gotta close out. So first of all, I'm gonna thank everybody for your comments today because the last two questions, I don't, but um I'm so sorry I'm sounding like because time is against us. This was such a great topic, and thank you all for joining us. But next week is our Valentine's Day show, and we will have Chef Cottrell with us next week, ladies and gentlemen, on our Valentine's Day show. So you do want to tune into that. And our words of the week is an Irish proverb: "A good friend is like a four-leaf clover, hard to find and lucky to have." So thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you, Vash, for engaging me on this engagement on this topic because it really means a lot, to me. So thank you, excellent.
You are so welcome. I mean, you really wanted to make sure that people understood that if you were going through some tough times, you have good friends. You
Yeah,
have people in your world who want to help you and want you to be around. So find a way to make sure you let everyone know who's in your circle that they mean something to you and that you're available to be for them.
Amen. Amen. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to say thank you for joining our show tonight. And we look forward to seeing you next week on our next episode of He Said,
He said,
He
he
Said.
said.
Okay. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week and stay warm. Take care.